Ever since Timothie de Froggie started his first job at Cricket Inc., he has had a bit of a caffeine addiction. At first, a single cup was able to boost him through the morning, but as his work and stress ramped up, 1 cup turned into 2, then 3. Now he drinks up to 5 cups of coffee a day. Instead of being an enjoyable treat, coffee is now his lifeline. Without it, he would get headaches, feel slow, and question the meaning of his life. He was also becoming more irritable when last week a coffeeless Timothie lashed out at a coworker for absolutely nothing. After receiving a warning from HR, he realized something had to change. He doesn't want his life and reputation to be controlled by a beverage. But what can he do? Well, let's find out in this episode of
Froggie versus Life.
To defeat caffeine addiction, we must know how it works. Let's zoom into Timothie's brain. When cells use energy, adenosine is released as a byproduct. And when it binds to its receptors, it'll signal the body that it's time to rest. Throughout the day, adenosine volume gradually builds up and then clears away during sleep. Now, caffeine works by hijacking these receptors. In doing so, the adenosine cannot bind, and this tricks the brain temporarily into thinking it's not tired. Over time, multiple cups a day forces Timothie's brain to adapt by adding even more adenosine receptors to offset the constant caffeine. The adenosine that had its receptors taken up by caffeine now have a place to attach. This is why over time, the same cup does less and less and Timothie ends up drinking more and more. Caffeine will also increase Timothie's heart rate and stress hormone levels. This can sharpen his senses and alertness, but drinking too much and too late into the day will also disrupt his sleep, leaving him tired and craving for more coffee the next morning. So what should Timothie do? Well, he has 2 problems to tackle. First, he has to understand and deal with the root cause of his caffeine reliance. Then, he has to reverse his body's adaptation to chugging 5 cups a day. For the first problem, Timothie's over-reliance on coffee comes from always feeling tired. It turns out that at night, he'd often be gaming or watching FrogTube videos until 3 a.m. With only 5 hours of sleep, he'd wake up extremely exhausted and immediately reach for coffee. So, as you can expect, Timothie's number 1 priority should be getting enough sleep. At least 7 to 9 hours of quality rest will set him up better for the day. To improve his sleep, he should also stop drinking coffee at least 8 hours before bedtime. This allows the effects of caffeine in his system to fade and lets his brain wind down. Now, after waking up, instead of going straight to coffee for alertness, he can try doing some light exercises, like jumping jacks to increase his heart rate. He can drink a glass of cold water to rehydrate and gently shock his system. He can also get some sunlight if possible to trigger hormones that tell his brain it's time to be alert. But it still doesn't solve the other problem. As we found out, Timothie's body now expects 5 cups a day. To reset this, he should start cutting down his caffeine intake. One way is to go cold turkey, which means quitting caffeine completely, all at once. The benefit? Well, it's quick, usually only taking a couple days. The downside? Well, getting through those first few days can be rough. The withdrawal symptoms of headaches, irritation, questioning of life will be in full effect until the body readapts. The more manageable option is to cut back gradually. If Timothie drinks 5 cups a day, he can drop 1 cup every few days until he's down to 1 or none at all. He can also swap some of his regular coffees for decaf variants or tea, as they still provide a light boost, but with much less caffeine. Compared to cold turkey, this approach is gentler on the body and it makes the transition easier. 2 weeks later, Timothie feels like a new frog. He falls asleep and stays asleep much easier than before. His energy levels without coffee now match or even exceed what they used to be after 2 or 3 cups. His mood has also improved, meaning no more close calls with HR. Coffee is no longer in control. It's back to being an occasional power boost, and more importantly, a simple pleasure he can enjoy.